Okay, let's just grab this time actually I'm gonna do a quick sketch of it. But what I want to do as a little challenge for myself here is make it a little bit wonky. Instead of a perfect circle, I'm gonna make a nice stylized, like kind of stretched apple where the top part is gonna pull up a little bit. And we're gonna make that whole thing where it's the belly button, like just really big right here. And the stem is gonna be like that, just really goofy. What you can learn from by doing this kind of stuff is looking at the reference and interpreting it in your own way. This will make you a pretty effective painter if you need to kind of just come up with things on the spot without having to be a slave to the reference. All right, new layer underneath that. Let's grab a red. Ooh, that's way too bright. It's slightly different from the red that we did prior. All right, halfway to black. I forgot to change the hue when we did the shadow of the previous one. That's fine. But this time I'm actually going to push it a little bit more towards magenta. Stylization, having fun with it. Kind of like that Rubik's Cube assignment. Let's paint that shadow in. It's cooler, darker. A lot of it is trial and error, but with this shadow, I'm going to add a bit of blue for fun. And feel free to follow along and kind of just do whatever I'm doing. Because although I'm not really explaining absolutely everything, I'm doing the best I can. But some of this stuff you just learn by osmosis, by rinse and repeat, by following along. Let's get a slightly darker core shadow there. And let's get that highlight in. Nope, I want it to be warmer. And this is a different brush, but either one is fine. And turn off line work, zoom out, reads pretty well. Let's merge that all down. Bring that line work back, lower the opacity of it, just as a slight guide. Let's grab that mixer brush. And we're going to blend this, this core shadow. And definitely don't be discouraged if you're doing this and the craftsmanship is a little bit sloppy, or craftsmanship and cleanliness and shape design, that all comes with practice and mileage and time. So hang in there. It'll get better, especially by your 10th apple. I can promise that. Maybe I can't promise that, but I can almost guarantee it every time. That highlight in there. Look at that. You zoom out, it's like, okay, we just stylized something based off of reference. It almost looks like a pepper. On that magenta side, we're actually going to have a little bit of fun, introduce some more colors. We're going to go down to these blues and go pretty bright, as if there's a blue light on the side over here. Make a new layer and just get some nice colorful rim light there sneaking in. I actually want to make that core shadow a little darker. This kind of approach is what you'll find in a lot of animation style visual development, BizDev, Pixar, DreamWorks, Disney Animation. They really like to see that pushing of interesting colors. Zoom out. Let's get this stuff blended in. At this point, I'm just matching the geometry, and I want to bring that highlight out in the same way we did before in the first demo. New layer, just make that really dark here, and erase out in a gradient fashion. I'm going to go ahead and borrow that color of the stem. Make a new layer, one stroke, halfway to black, make it a little bit cooler towards green, and let that be the shadow. It doesn't even have to touch all the way in. It's just, you can have fun with it. We are missing a bit of a shadow on this side that we forgot. So we're just actually going to do a big stroke like that and erase out like so. What do you know? A fun stylized little apple. Let's make the ground brighter right here. here as well. And we're going to make the background a little bit darker behind the brightness. Love it. Actually give it that sort of geometric treatment with that mixer brush along the geometry of it. You can use a big brush for the big area so that we're not, like, I wouldn't want to do this for an area that's kind of big. Might as well be efficient and use a big brush and just do something like that, right? That's always more appealing, to kind of be efficient with how you handle your blending. All right, these edges don't need to be sharp. I want the top left of the apple to be a little bit brighter. New layer. Let's grab a bit of a bright yellow. Let's grab our bristle brush and erase out like this. Beautiful. I want to emphasize that contact shadow. It's going to go grab this value and go a little bit darker and a little bit cooler towards magenta. And use our painterly strat and erase out. And I'm actually constantly peeking up at the navigator window, kind of seeing how it looks as a thumbnail. And it's pretty helpful to do that because you can kind of gauge where areas are kind of failing. And so